Hey, Money Masters. Good to see all of you all today. Yes, I know we are supposed to be doing this podcast on Thursday, and we will. We are. Yesterday, I just had to foot my day just because of some stuff going on. But anyway, we're here today. This is episode 20. So if you are joining us live, whether you're watching in the Facebook group or on the Money Mastery for Her business page and Facebook, whether you're watching on YouTube, wherever you are watching from, let us know who you are, where you're watching from. We're excited to come to you today. We're going to be talking about what does pay yourself first really mean. It's an old concept. Many of us, I'm sure, have heard of that before. But what does it really mean, right? What does it really mean? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into our topic for the day, I got to bring you a crazy money story or a strange money story. So last week we talked about the wooden bills, right? Some strange currency. And we talked about wooden bills and what country used to use those, produce those, and use those as currency. And today I thought we would stay on that, on that topic of strange currency. And so I found another one, which was in Cameroon. Okay. And this one wasn't way back in the day like the one last week. This one was not too long ago, about 2005, okay, in Cameroon. And so in 2005 in Cameroon, there was this brewery. I always get that. Anyway, there was a brewery and they started printing prize offers under beer bottle caps, right? So you would take the cap off and there would be like a prize. And they did that to start boosting their sales, right? So there were some competitors that took on to that idea. And for the price of one beer, you were almost guaranteed to win anything, right? From another beer to a sports car. Like there were all kinds of prizes that you could find under those bottle caps. Well, people started using the bottle caps to pay for their taxi fares. Can you believe it? And that the taxis even actually accepted them. So the taxi drivers used them to even bribe traffic police because they could take these bottle caps with the prizes inside of them, right? And go to that brewery and go and claim, whatever prize. And so, after a few people and more people started to do that, they actually soon became a small part of their local economy. Isn't that crazy? I'm not sure if that is still a thing today in Cameroon, but definitely in 2005, um, it was a thing. Okay. It was a thing. So, all right, let's get to our topic for today. We're talking about paying yourself first and what does that really mean, right? So, most times when we say that, pay yourself first, typically a person who is not, I say ignorant, but it's not a bad thing. It just means that you don't know, right? We don't know. So, a person who's kind of ignorant in finances will say that, oh, this is money that, I can use to go and do whatever I want to do, whether it's travel or get my hair done or buy some shoes or get a purse or go hang out with the girls or whatever the case may be. They think that that's what paying yourself first actually means, but that's not what it means. And today we want to talk about what it does mean so that number one, if you aren't paying yourself first, you need to start. Okay. And number two, you know exactly what it means to pay yourself first. Okay. So if you are a person who is, hello, Apostle Anita, how are you? If you're a person who has ever taken my Wealth Seed course, or you have been in my Money Mastery for Her group and you've heard me teach on the three storehouses, you know what this means. Okay. So the first storehouse in finances is what I call your profit storehouse, or in other words, your pay yourself first storehouse. And this actually works in business as well. Okay. So this is not just about personal finances, but this also applies to business finances. So, and I also teach a concept called allocating, right? So we are going to allocate a percentage of your income that goes towards paying yourself first. All right. Hey, all of you who are joining, let me know who you are, where you're joining from. So, most of my clients, I have them allocate anywhere from 10 to 20% of their income, and as close to 20% as we can get, right? But minimally 10% going into this account, okay, or this profit account. Now, what is this money for? Well, if we think about the old concept, pay yourself first, and what it really means, what it meant was you were putting money up for you, okay? It's not money that you go and just, splurge on whatever or go spend on whatever or, go travel, go have a good time on it with. Not yet, anyway, right? But this is money that you actually put up for yourself. Now, how do you put it up, right? Because I'm not talking about just putting it up in a bank, okay? Good to see you. Watching all the way from Manhattan. Glad to see you. So, um, I'm not talking about like, that you just put it up just in a bank. And some people are doing that, but you're going to understand what that means as I continue to speak. Good morning. Good morning. So, when we say pay yourself first, I talk about this is the first storehouse. There are, it's the second storehouse. There are two components to that storehouse. There is, okay, let me back up. It's all three storehouses. Lord have mercy. Okay, it's all three storehouses. So the first storehouse is life insurance, right? Because we need to make sure not only that we can be buried when if we were to pass away, but also that our family is taken care of and they'll have the same standard of living, if not better, okay, when we're gone, right? So that's what life insurance does. It replaces your income. Okay. So that's the first part of paying yourself. Then the second storehouse, okay, is your emergency fund and your opportunity fund. So the emergency fund, all right, it is essential that we start putting money aside. And I say anywhere from 6 to 9 months of your expenses, okay? If anything happens, you lose your job or hours are cut or, whatever the case may be, or like we had a shutdown because of, this sickness, right? Then you have funds that you can live on for at least 6 to 9 months, right? And it gives you some time, buys you some time to put some other things in place, right? So that's the first part of storehouse number 2. The second part of storehouse number 2 is what I call your opportunity fund, okay? How many of you have ever had a great opportunity come across or be presented to you, but you could not take advantage of it because you did not have the funds available? Put a 1 in the chat. And don't be ashamed because that used to be me, right? Put a 1 in the chat or the comments, right? There have been times where an opportunity has been presented to you. You saw one really great opportunity. And because you do not have the funds available, you had to let that opportunity kind of pass you by, right? Oh my goodness, I had been there so many times before, right? And so part of, she said, was you. I understand. So part of storehouse number 2 is opportunity fund, right? So you're putting up money, life insurance, you're paying your premiums for your life insurance, you're putting up money for emergency fund. Now you're putting up money for opportunity fund, okay? Because when opportunities come, you want to be able to take advantage of it, and then you don't want to disrupt what is going on in your day-to-day finances, okay? So that's storehouse number 2. Storehouse number 3 is your wealth building account, okay, or retirement. And there's so many different ways that that can be done. They can be done through traditional measures such as 401k, or different types of IRAs, self-directed IRAs. I mean, there's those are the like the traditional types, and then you've got other ways of investing, real estate, crypto, all these other things that you can do that can also contribute to your wealth building account. So those are the three storehouses. And that's what we're talking about when we say pay yourself first, right? So it should be an allocation of the income that you have coming in, minimally 10%, ideally 20%, that's going to take care of all of those things, right? And so then your question may be, well, how do I divvy up, that 20% or 10% or 15% or whatever it may be? How do I divvy it up, right? How much goes to one versus, the other? So I'm going to say, because I don't know your personal finances, what I'm going to share with you is what should come first, right? Um, all right. So, and it just says Facebook user. So please forgive me, and I'm not using your name. It says you had an opportunity to travel out of the USA next year. I did not have the down payment when due, and since the COVID, I cannot truly be on track. I am usually having enough to tide me over. Yes, and you're not alone, right? Like a lot of people are in that situation, which is why I teach the concept of allocating. Okay, if you're not allocating, you need to. I'm not going to say you need to, but I'm going to highly encourage you to get on my calendar so you can get some coaching as far as allocating is concerned, because allocating is not about how much money you have coming in. A lot of times people think that they need to have, I need to have more and more money coming in so that I can, but what happens is the more money you have coming in, the more money is going back out, or you continue to do the same practices and you're not really getting ahead, right? So what has to happen is, number one, you have to have a mindset change. Number two, you have to have behavior change in your finances. So it's not about how much is coming in, right? It's about the shift up here that allows for the shift in your behavior. And really what counts is how much you're keeping. Okay? That's the key. I don't care how much you're making, and I'm not saying you couldn't use more income, but to start this process, it's all about how much are you keeping. So we allocate, right? So back to this paying yourself first. You have this 10 to 20% that you are consistently, anytime you get income. So I don't care if your income is $500 this month, or it's $10,000 this month, or it's $25,000 this month. I don't care what it is, right? The percentage is 10 to 20%. Okay. So so the first thing that you want to make sure that you have in place is your life insurance. That's storehouse number one. You want to have that in place, okay? And you want to make sure that, again, you have enough coverage that will take care of your burial expenses and any bills that don't die. Because believe it or not, people, there are bills that just because you die, those bills live on and they will go to your next of kin, and your next of kin will become responsible for those things, or they may, lose whatever it is, whether it's a home or whatever the case may be, right? So that amount now is, that how much goes to that depends on how much coverage you need, how much income replacement you're trying to do, all of that. And so then you determine that amount, and then you take that out of that 10 to 20%. Now, the next thing that you need to make sure that you have in place, if you don't already have one, is an emergency fund. That is the absolute next. Okay. So life insurance first, emergency fund next. Life insurance is key. I took my first one out at age 18, and my family asked, why did I do that? Listen, can I just say something on that really quickly? I didn't really plan to make this all about life insurance, and I'm not, but Yes, take it out when you're young. Okay. So taking it out when you're 18, 19, 20 years old is absolutely a smart thing to do. Why? Because how they determine the cost of life insurance is based on age and is based on health. The older you get, the it costs more, right? And sometimes for some of us, the older we get, we may have more health challenges. I pray that that's not the case because we don't have to have them. But a lot of times that's what happens. We have health challenges as we get older. So the older you get and the more health challenges you have, the more expensive life insurance is going to be. So the younger that you can take that out, or you take it out when you don't have any health issues, the cheaper it will be. Okay. So yes, you are absolutely smart to do that at age 18. All right. So back to the emergency fund. So your life insurance is first. And the very next thing, if you do not have it, is your emergency fund. Okay. Because what happens is people will have life insurance or they will have retirement, but they don't have an emergency fund. When emergency fund comes, I mean, when an emergency happens, where are they going to get money from? So most people, a lot of people have, gone into their retirement accounts and taken money out. A lot of people have, just been set back because they've not been putting anything aside. And so now it's got to come from somewhere. So they're taking money from their day-to-day stuff. And now another bill gets behind, and yet another bill gets behind, and another bill gets behind. And so it's so important that you have an emergency fund that you are putting away. Okay. And just so you know, you want to have this fund in a place, not at the bank. Okay. You want to have it in a place where it can still grow, even if it's growing at a low percentage, right? And you're going to want that because you want access to the funds. Anytime you have access to the funds, you're not going to get high returns. So have it in a place where it can still grow, right? It's safe, relatively safe, and but it's growing while you're not using it. And then when an emergency comes up, guess what? You can just go to that fund and use those monies. You don't have to take something from another bill or from the child's school tuition or whatever the case may be, right? And set yourself back in other situations, right? So that emergency fund is super important, even before the retirement fund, if you can't do these things simultaneously, right? But if you're allocating, you should be able to do these things. You should be able to do these things simultaneously. It's very, very rare, unless your income is just that low, like you're only making a couple hundred a month, right? That you won't be able to do these things simultaneously. Okay. All right. Then after that, um, the next is your retirement. Okay. Get that going. Make sure that's up on track. And then your opportunity fund. Listen, these are the things that we talk about when we're saying pay yourself first. Okay. So it has nothing to do with I'm going to go take this trip or I'm going to, no, paying yourself first means that you are making sure that your future self is taken care of, whether it's a future emergency you encounter, whether it's a future opportunity that comes your way, whether it's I want to retire, right? At a certain age and I want to stay retired. That's what the pay yourself first account is for. Okay. You will be able to have fun with those monies a little down the line. Okay. The crazy thing with us is that we want to do, we just want to be free, now, right? And it's okay to have some fun and to travel and to do all those things, but plan for it, right? And you can do those things even now if you plan for it, right? In your allocations and in your budget. You can still do all those things now, but don't do all of those things now and you've not made any plan for the future, because guess what? Guess what? You can be doing all those things now, but then later on, you are going to be tied to your home, okay, not being able to do anything because you haven't put anything aside. You're not even going to be able to retire because you haven't put anything aside, okay? So it's important that you pay yourself first Thank you for all these important information. It's greatly appreciated. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so it's important that you pay yourself first, right? Even some people say, well, where does, eliminating debt come? You know, I'm not, your typical run of the mill traditional kind of financial coach or whatever who feels like, oh, that's the first thing that you should do. I'm kind of the person that's like, eh, if it's not interest bearing, then you should put your money in a place where it grows and can grow, pretty quickly, and then pay the debt off. Okay. Because when you pay the debt, there's you don't have anything. There's no pay yourself first, right? So you're paying everybody else via creditors, you're paying all of them, but when it comes to, time to have for you, you will not have. Okay? You will not have. So I'm not saying don't pay debt. What I'm saying is pay yourself first. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, really quickly, before I give you guys some what's coming up, I want to share with you just the different mindsets. Okay. So, a person with a poor mindset, okay, and poor doesn't mean that they just don't have money. Okay. You can have a poor mindset and have millions of dollars. Okay. A person with a poor mindset, all they're thinking about is paying bills. That's it. A person with a so-called middle class mindset, because if you're watching closely, they really are trying to get rid of the middle class and they will accomplish that. Okay. But a person with a middle class mindset is, okay, I want to pay bills. But I also want to, just have things now. You know what I'm saying? House, this, car, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And so there I'm cash poor, right? But the rich person, okay, and when I say rich, I mean mindset. We're talking mindset here. Anytime they have a dollar come in, they're thinking about how can I take this dollar and make it 10? How can I take this dollar and make it 20? And that's the mindset that you want to have, right? Because if you can take the dollar and make it 10, you can pay the debt. All right. So that's where we want to get to. And if you need any assistance where that is concerned, I believe my calendar link is in the description, but it's also in the comments. Okay. So don't hesitate to schedule yourself a free consultation. It's like 20 to 30 minutes. And we can talk and then we can see, if it's beneficial for us to work together, or if you just want to go do the thing on your own. That's fine. You can do that too. I have my thoughts on that, but you can go do that too, right? But at least let's get on the calendar and have a quick chat, right? All right. So now let's talk about what's coming up. Listen, earlier I mentioned my course, The Wealth Seed, right? And so next year we usually do it twice a year, so it'll come in the spring and it'll come in the fall. Look out for that. But listen, there's one more platform that course is going to be on, and that is Global Impact University. I'm so excited about it. It's an accredited university, and my course gets to be there, right? And so you don't have to wait to take the course. You can take it on demand through Global Impact University, and more information will be coming about that. Or you can do the course in the spring and in the fall, where we do it live, right? So you'll have various options to take the course. Money Mastery for Her has made some pivots, right? So we have some financial coaching programs. So again, get on my calendar. Let's have a free consult. Let's talk about those. We can have some financial coaching. All these concepts, these things that I come and just make quick mention of in the podcast or these lives, you can learn them in depth, and you can have the benefit of me coaching you and holding you accountable and helping you to execute. But not only that, you can have your own personal strategic financial plan, right? We have plans in every other area of our lives, goals in every other areas of our lives, but in our finances, we just out here we just out here. Okay. So get on my calendar if you're interested in that. And then what else is coming up? We still have our holiday sale going on. All the information for that is in the description. Okay, we got sale going on our merch, 30% off. Also for Legacy TV, if you have a podcast that you've just started, or show you're thinking about starting and you wanted to have some global exposure, we've got 30% off all those packages. Information is in the description. And what else do I need to tell you? Oh, if you have not joined the Money Mastery for Her group, join the group, because come January 3rd, there's going to be a subscription. But everybody who is already in the group, it will forever remain free to you. Okay. And in that group, you're going to get webinars that not the whole world is going to see. I guess you can call them webinars. We are also doing like the wealth text of the week, where we take a scripture each week and we're breaking it down so we can work on this money mindset, and some other things that just not the public are going to get. Okay, so get in the group. If you're already in the group, invite someone to the group before there is a subscription to it. Okay, all right. I think that's all that I want to share with you all for now. That is all. Hope that you guys learned something today, and we'll see you next time. All right. Listen, master your money mindset, master your finances, right? So that you can go out, have kingdom impact, and we can change the face of wealth. We'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.